So, welcome. This is our first tutorial on AutoCAD 2D, 3D. You know, our first instructional video. My name is Emmanuel Barango. I studied mechanical engineering in PTI, ND, and HND. I'm currently, anyway, um, I'll go a little bit into my qualifications and what I'm currently doing down the line as we move along. AutoCAD 2D, 3D. When it comes to drafting and designing, AutoCAD is very famous and is majorly famous for drafting, specifically 2D drafting. Yeah, for architectures, people who draw building plans. There's a specific software, ArchiCAD, for that specifically, but people still use to draw wiring, instrumental diagrams, piping instrumental diagrams, P&ID, piping and flow diagrams, PFD, and basically 2D mechanical parts dimensioning, 2D modeling basically. AutoCAD is the most used software, most famous and used software in 2D modeling. Okay, so and I would like you, as someone who's going to this course, to evaluate yourself in the sense of what you really want to be using AutoCAD for, because that will really allow you to prioritize, certain softwares. You don't, no knowledge is a waste, but you don't waste your time doing things that are not relevant to your career or to your direction or what you already want to achieve with a design software. Okay, so AutoCAD is also good in 3D modeling, but there are more specific softwares that are specific in the sense to certain areas and career, like sectors. PDMS, piping, is specific to pipe modeling, in the petroleum industry. PDMS. So yeah, so SolidWorks now is specific to 3D modeling of machine parts and you know basically physical devices and modeling of objects and all. Okay, so that doesn't mean you can't use SolidWorks to model um a plant. Okay, you could do that, but it's designed around being able to design a machine part and model it, gears and complex machinery all together. While PDMS, you can't even use PDMS sef to design a machine part at all. I can't even go there. It's specific just for the petroleum industry to model, design plants and manage. It's in the name. Plant design management system. Okay. So with that in mind, um AutoCAD will be most useful to you if you're in the business of drafting and light 3D modeling. Okay, so drafting and light 3D modeling, great software. Okay, and easy to get a hang of, easy to learn and master. Okay, as long as you're consistent and you practice, which this course will allow you to do, because this course is structured in the way that this second lecture will not be sent until the assignment of the first lecture is done. You understand me? It's done that way, so you don't allow people to um the fact that this is an online class shouldn't take away. Of course, it shouldn't be at its advantage. Just people are more into being motivated physically, but the fact that you won't get the next training unless you've done the assignment of the last one will give you that zeal to want to do that last one. Yes, because you paid for this. Yeah. So this is when you open your AutoCAD software, this is this is what you see first. Okay. This is your starting page, where you see previous recent documents, where you open new documents and all. So this is where we're going to start. Okay. So the first thing you see here, start drawing. This is to open a new drawing page totally, as you can see. Okay. So um the way AutoCAD's user interface is structured, this is your start page. This is drawing one, drawing two. You can rename the page, the drawing as you go along, like I just did. Right click on save as, then you can rename the drawing as first class, you know. So for organization purposes, when you get a job, a project, you name the file according to that project, so for easy remembrance, easy searching, and you can pull off whenever you want. Okay, so that's it. How I did that: right click, come to save as. Okay, then you see the option to rename, then you rename. So that is it. You can see the option to close all other drawings, copy full part, open file location, where is located in your folder. If it's saved, you could get it and just maybe you want to send to someone. Okay, so in this starting page now, the first thing you get used to, first thing you will know is simply opening up a new drawing tab, or going through your previous works and clicking on something you've done before to to review, to edit, and whatever. So but this is our first class. I want to open a fresh new workspace like we've already done. So when you click this start drawing now that my cursor is hovering around, it takes you to a new page. Okay, so this is your drawing space. The first thing, everybody likes certain things different way. If you look at my screen, you notice a grid pattern across my drawing space. Okay, that grid pattern can be either removed or put there. I like it that way. Okay, when you're using a software, you get to personalize it the way you want. So the way it is doesn't mean that this is how it must be for you. If you look down here, this is the command line where you can come in to input short commands. I'm going to teach you, there are a lot of commands. I'm going to teach you a couple that you're going to be at your fingertips for when you can, bring it up whenever you like. Okay, so that's the command line, and below the command tab there's model, there is grid, display drawing grid, there's snap mode of. I will explain everything here, what they each mean. Then I'll go into, first of all, please forgive me, this is in 3D modeling. Come to your settings here. If it isn't, this is the reason it's really modern because of my past work. So this is not how your AutoCAD will look like at first. I beg. Sorry that um I didn't notice that earlier. Let's come to drafting and annotation. Okay. Drafting and annotation, then this is how AutoCAD will look like on your laptop. Okay. So yeah. As I was saying about the grid, this is where you could turn it off. This is how the drawing space is now, smooth and normal. You might like it this way, but I like the grid to be here. It gives me a sense of order, the way the patterns are arranged. Okay, so that is that. Everything I just did now to draw that line, I will explain. I'm just trying to explain why I like that being turned on. So everything here has a use case. Every single thing here, some of which you would know, some of which you might not ever use. But as we are drawing, I'm going to show you everything one by one. Okay. So for today, we are going to be focusing on this draw section. That is the basic of a design software. The draw section where you have tools to draw basic 2D shapes and edit them. The modify tab will allow you to modify these drawings and all of that. So the first tool we have there is the line. Okay, so this is the ordinary line. I just clicked on it. When you click on it, you notice your cursor on the drawing tab has changed. Okay, so what you do is specify the point at which you want the line to be drawn from. So let's say I click there. As you can see, the line is has the first point. Now, if you notice, this line is bent, and when you pick a drawing tool, uh, you might want it to be brought about in a different way. So with that, now I'm going to use this now to explain the first tool down here, which is the auto. What this auto does is to restrict your drawings to either horizontal or vertical lines. It helps you draw horizontal or vertical lines. So if I click on it now, you will notice that my line will not even be, it will refuse to bend, basically. It will refuse to be at an angle other than 90 degrees, or that is 90 degree or 180, like horizontal or vertical. Okay, so what that allows me to do is draw perfectly straight lines without turning this auto on. My line, it will be difficult for me to use my own this thing. Please use a mouse when using AutoCAD, never your touchpad. You get, never use your touchpad. If you're holding the mouse right now, your screw, this is your scroll wheel, and it allows you to zoom in and zoom out of this thing, like so. Zoom in and zoom out of a drawing. So it's easier than to be on your touchpad drawing it in. It's not working that way. It's difficult and unprofessional. So please get a mouse if you haven't already. I'm going to make sure I say this before sending this first tutorial video. So when we click our auto on, we notice that the lines are either horizontal or vertical. So if I was to draw a square, okay, it will allow me to draw perfectly straight lines. Okay, then another thing very important that I should note, when you've drawn a line, from that last point, the line you drew the line, you can specify the distance. So if you notice here, this point now, this last point that I click here happens to be the last point of and the beginning of this particular line, last part of the old line and beginning of this line. If I want this line to be, let's say, 30, all I have to do is just to come and write 30, 30, enter. Wait, so pick the line, click here and write 30, and the line becomes exactly the length dimension you've typed in. Okay, so we're going to pick a document so we can use one or two drawings to give examples of what I'm trying to explain. If you're trying to draw something that you've been given and the dimension is written there, so this is how you do it. Okay, because you don't know what distance by yourself are here. So I want this line now to be 7. I write 7, enter. Automatically it becomes like that. Okay, so there are different types of line. If you notice, this line is, they are broken in the sense, as I have drawn this shape now, each of each line is on its own. They are not together. Okay, so basically, what the next tool there is called the polyline. What this tool is that when you draw a line, let's see here is 30. Zoom out your scroll wheel. 30, 30, 30. These lines, they are all together. You understand me? So polyline is basically drawing a line in which they will all be acting as one. Because now in this shape, if I highlight this, only this line will highlight. But if I highlight this one, just one, okay, the whole shape is together. Okay, so there are certain situations where you will need this. In the sense, if you wanted to move this shape now, if I wanted to move this square shape, I'll click my cut to just to trim. If you wanted to move this rectangular shape, you have to highlight the whole thing. Literally, if you skip one, the one you highlight will be left. If you click on move, you can see. But with this, I don't have to do that. I just have to click one edge and click on move. The whole thing will move like I want. Okay, so when you want a shape you're making to act as one, you use polyline, not normal line. Okay, so that's that. The next tool there is called the circle. Okay, the circle, and there are several types of circles that are given here. There is center radius circle. That means that when you click, whatever point you're clicking is serving as the center of the circle. Okay, on your drawings, I want you to turn on every single thing here the way it's turned on, as in mind is because everything this if I turn off this o snap is meant to allow me to stick to edges basically. I can't if I'm trying to use my cursor to target this particular edge and my O snap it's not on, it gives me issue. I won't be able to get it exactly. Okay. There are times where you turn it off, maybe you're trying to draw something and it keeps taking you to a point. You turn it off so it doesn't do that. But in this case, when I'm trying to get this edge as my center line of the circle, I will turn it on. Okay. So I'll come here. As you can see, it's easy for me to click the edge of the rectangle because my O snap is turned on. The second tool you have here that I have turned on is my object tracking, you know, used to track the angles. Mm, yeah. This is just my object tracking, basically to get not the angle, sorry, used to get the center of let's say something, or used to track the line to help you align things together. I will explain what that means. So I have it turned on here, yeah, and I want to draw this circle. I've drawn this circle now. So this one here allows me the object snap or snap allows me to click the edge of the rectangle as my midpoint, while the O snap aligns. There are periods in drawing where the need for it will arise to just show up. Let's say I'm trying to look for the middle of this circle now. Look at it. As I click this circle, if you notice this, the center highlighted itself like this. As I just click the circle, okay. So this is it. I can come here and just click the center. It isn't glowing up because that point is the center. So I'm going to give you an example of this. And I'm going to draw this circle here, and I want to draw another circle within this circle. Okay. So I want to know where the middle of it. Normally, the image won't show. The middle is not a drawing, it's not here, it's not showing. But if I come and touch the line, the middle pops off. So allowing me to do this. Okay. So if you turn it off, you won't be able to get information on the midpoints of drawings and the how they align. Um, it will be difficult for me to guess where the center of that circle is. So that these are very important things that are supposed to be on in your this thing below your command line. Okay. So the second tool here we have, but it's actually turned off, is a puller. Is used to restrict the cursor to a specific angle. Let's say you want to draw this now at a particular angle. If you notice, and this straight line is showing you 0 degrees. It's showing you 0 degrees. So if you want to now draw an angle, so it will help you create the angle you're trying to draw. It's counting from the horizontal. Ehen. So let's say you want here, the drawing now here is 45 degrees, this point. So I'll come here and look for 45 degrees. Normally you will not have been able to create this angle now is 45 degrees, and I'll prove it to you. When you come to this thing, to this, what they call it, dimension it. Look at it, 45 degrees exactly. I'm going to talk about dimension at the later class. I'm not even supposed to point it out now, but so you don't get scrambled, what we're doing. Dimension is a total class on its own, but just to show you how accurate this thing is. So if you want to draw an angle now in AutoCAD, you're going to turn this thing on and look at it so you know the angle you're trying to draw. Okay. So that is it for that. Now back to several types of circle. The first one we click was center radius. The second one now is center diameter. That means when you click on it now, when you click on it, if normally if I want to click, if I click a circle and I want to type the the size, what will be the this thing there will be radius. It will be radius. But if as I click center diameter now, it's going to be the diameter. The diameter will be the dimension I will put in my distance. So let's say if I click 20, this 20 is not the radius I'm telling them, is the diameter. So that is it. But if I come here now and click center radius, center and I click 20, you can see that the 20 I click is this one is bigger than that last one because you're telling me that this 20 you're putting here is the radius. Okay. The other one is the diameter. Mean that you're using 10 as this radius over there. You understand? Okay. So that is radius and center radius and center diameter. So there is a 2 point circle. When you want to draw a circle within this point and this point, okay, so I come here, I click this point, very self-explanatory, click the second point. That's it. That is center, I mean, sorry, 1 point, then the second point, 2 point circle. Okay, so there's a 3 point circle, the same principle, but in this case, I'm going to explain it by drawing a triangle. Notice by the right side of your AutoCAD, this tool here, the palm, is used to drag and move the screen. Okay, you can do this also if you're using the mouse. Press on your scrolling wheel and move it around. Okay, so that is it. The other tools are not relevant for now. This is just zoom out. Okay, so 3 point circle. Click the 3 points of this triangle and a circle is made externally. So situations arise, you need this tool. You'll be able to use it as it should be used. Okay. So because naturally if you're to draw this, it will be difficult to fit a circle around the triangle the way it looks like here. So all these separate ways of doing things is just approaches you can use to accomplish looks and drawings that might not just be easily looked upon or drawn. Mhm. So that is it. So this is Tantan radius. Tantan radius is a tool I use a lot. I use a lot to create curves around 2 points. Okay, so I'll give you an example. So look at this drawing. Okay, look at this drawing here. there's a circle here and there's another circle here, distance, and you are trying to make a circle that curves around it. So and they gave you the radius now of that big circle, maybe did they might not sef, but in situations where they didn't, where they did, you could equally use the tan radius. Let's say click on the circle, tan radius, click this click this body, and click, let's say, 10. As you can see, using 10 as the diameter, it has created a curve between these two shapes. Okay, depending on the look you're trying to create. Okay, so that is for tan radius. Then tan is exactly the same, exactly the same thing, but in this case you don't really have to highlight the put in the diameter or maybe the radius. So just click these 2 points and click enter. If let's try that again. Tan here and here. It's difficult to show you without it being actually needed in a situation. Let's say 3 points, tan, 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 tan. Exactly. So to create a circle within three separate points, tan, without actually putting in dimension, because you might not know dimension or distance these 3 points are from each other. So that's it with about with circles and everything. The second tool we have here on the draw menu is the arc. Okay, arc is there are several types of arcs which we will not get into in detail, but they all serve the same purpose. Basically, but they all have different approaches to what you are trying to create. So what you do a little bit of critical thinking and you see which one best fits exactly the situation you're trying to create, basically. So let's say start, center, and end arc. You understand? So start, center, and end. Start, center, and end, as you can see. And you can also edit the arc too using the points that are within it. Okay, another type of arc here, 3 point arc. Here, here, here. Okay, so if you want to erase a drawing, simply click it and click erase, highlight it and click erase, highlight it from the right and click erase, not from the left. Okay, so right, erase, right, erase. Okay, so our drawing is looking a bit neat. There's another tool here called rectangle and polygon. If you wanted to recreate this rectangle I have here, but in a more smarter and faster way, that we're going to use that to do it. So click the rectangle, click here, and we want the rectangle to be, we want it to be a square. I want it to be 30 by 30. Okay. So what we are going to do, on your keyboard, type 30, comma 30, enter. As you can see, it's exactly the same size as this. And in AutoCAD, in design softwares around, the more professional you get at something, the more you see faster ways to achieve drawings that you usually, find complicated before. Drawing this square now, with the basic technique I taught you, you will have to now come and click this line now and do. Let's say you come here and click, you now say 30. Turn on your auto, you will now say 30 by 30, then 30, enter, then another 30, enter. While someone now who is more experienced might just come here and click this and click 30, comma 30. Okay, so along the line you're going to be finding means, and I'm not going to be able to show you all the tricks, but you're going to stumble upon them on yourself, where you notice that, to do this drawing this way is faster. Okay, so that is it for that. Then the second tool we have here is polygon. Okay, now in drawing polygon here, after you click the point you want to draw, before you click the point rather, you will see where you will be asked how enter number of sides just directly by your cursor. So let's say I want to be a six-sided polygon. I press 6 and I press enter. So specify center of the polygon. Let's say I want the center to be here. Inscribe in a circle, or circumscribe about a circle. Inscribe. As do I want it to be inside a circle or outside? So that is my draw point. Okay, that's it. And I will now click the size. What size will I? What dimension? Let's say I want it to be 20. I want the radius to be 20. I click 20 and I click enter. As simple as that. Okay, AutoCAD is very simple. What makes you better at it is being able to put in several understanding and tools, and to make faster design, accurate design, and something beautiful. Okay, so the last two last tools we're going to do there is the ellipses. Okay, as a center ellipse, axis end ellipse, and elliptical arc. Okay, so center ellipse, as simple as it's pronounced, putting the radius, then expand or retract your cursor depending on how you want the ellipse to be. Okay, then axis and ellipse. That is the three. Mhm. Axis and ellipse, I think, is the 3 points on the ellipse. Let me turn off my auto. So yeah, so the last ellipse here is elliptical arcs. So I think center point here, then as you can see, play around with these tools. That's one of the things that will guarantee you being smart at it and knowing what to do when certain, you know, um, situations are in front of you. So the last tool we're going to talk about today is the draw tool. Okay, so I'm sorry, the I said draw tool. The last draw tool we're going to talk about is the hash. So hash, in drawing, you might want to specify, give certain characteristics to a space, a boundary. That is what hash is. Okay, so when you click on hash, you want to color, you want to give a certain texture to an area or boundary. That's the tool you use. Okay, so when I click on it now, I'll see a setting that comes about. Okay, you click the types of pattern you might want the space to have. Okay, this is brick looking pattern, angle, this, you understand. So let's say I click this, I come here and specify the boundary. As you can see, several stuff have been done here. Let's say I click this pattern now, this brick pattern, and click here. But if you notice, there's certain it's not filling up the space. Like, the reason it looks that way is because there's a setting you have to do here. This settings I'm clicking here is to further either make small or make big, large the patterns, and to how small or big they are will determine how filled up the space you clicked is. Okay, so look at, as I'm reducing it now, it's showing through the smaller and smaller sizes. Enter, as you can see. So the same thing with here. So if I bring it down, let's say to, yes, you know select, oh, look at it now. Okay, so oh, this looks like stars. So now that's what hash is, to assign a characteristic to a boundary, or a text, like a texture to a boundary basically. Okay, so we're going to end here for today, and I'm going to, the assignment for today's class is the very first drawing on the PDF that I'm sure I must have sent to you before now. Okay, this PDF, yes, everything I've taught you today will allow you and equip you to draw this, and that's what you're going to do. The dimensions are written all over it, but you don't have to dimension it at all because we haven't gotten into dimensioning yet. Yeah, so this is what you're going to draw, and if you have any issues at all, accomplishing this, that's what our third class is for. That one is just something that, by the time this is your issue, I will send you a screen record and explain to you how the issue is, and what might be the cause, and how you can go about it. Okay, so with this, I discharge you. Have a blessed and fulfilling day. Okay.